we soon realized that a lot of our efforts that we were putting into acquiring data through the evaluation process at the end of the year, for example, with the end of cycle evaluations, were not reaping the benefits that we were looking for. We were putting a great deal of time and energy into developing those evaluations, supporting teachers in using them, tabulating all of that information, and then we're struggling with getting people to understand and be influenced by those results and change their practice. And as our understanding of common formative assessments improved, I think we started seeing the light that we needed to maybe pull back on the evaluation and the data that we were acquiring through the evaluation process and push forward on looking at data that spoke to teachers, that was timely, that was meaningful to them, that was easy to acquire, and most importantly, that influenced their practice. Probably about 4 years ago, when the work of the consultant team, which is, we have 3 consultants here, primarily subject consultants, small school board, small team, and I, we're getting a lot of feedback on the end of cycle evaluation process. You know, after so many years, teachers were so resistant to the process and were saying very clearly to us, it's not really having an impact. The data means nothing. You know, we tabulate the data over the summer months, and by the time we're able to share that information with school teams, those students have moved on. Teachers are starting with a new group of students, and so it's not meaningful for them. I think we finally heard teachers. That was the genesis of this project, where we realized, and as I said before, our understanding of assessment and the importance of assessment improved. And we decided as a team that we needed to maybe pull back a little bit at a time when maybe other boards were actually adding on to their evaluation process. I don't believe that this team that I'm speaking of has ever believed that evaluation was the proper way of motivating improvement, that we really needed to have more timely evidence. And so we decided to forego end of cycle evaluations in cycles 1 and 2 in all 3 subject areas and replace that with a common formative assessment. But it took us 1.5 years to build that with a team of teachers and that led by the consultants before being able to implement it. So for an entire year, we had no evaluation, formal evaluation as produced by the school board in those cycles. And that bought us a little bit of time to develop the assessments and to train the teachers in using them.
Their role has been instrumental in working with our Common Formative Assessment initiative. We have been very fortunate in that through their discussions as consultants with the coordinators, the idea of bringing in Common Formative Assessment through all of our elementary schools. With that approach, we were able to discuss with the schools and make a informed decision to remove evaluations in the May-June timeframe and bring in common formative assessments in their place in September, which would then help to guide instructional practices and develop strategies that will improve student results. It provides the teachers with the opportunity to analyze where their students are at from an individual level as well as from a classroom level. Summative evaluations, it's not about grading, it's about getting an understanding of where the child's competency level is at, and we color code it, red, yellow, and green. So when that's mapped out through one of our tools in terms of, let's say it's for math, then we're able to very quickly take a look at the color coding. If it's green across the board, then we know that in that class, the teacher very much can move forward with new curriculum, new concepts. However, if there's a small portion that are in the red and most are in, let's say, green, they can move forward, but with some remediation for the handful of students. If it's all red, they know that they need to spend some time going back to some concepts that were missed.
After a year of having done the common formative assessments, we've been able to pull exemplars. An exemplar of what a student would look like if they were green, an exemplar of what a student would look like if they were yellow, and if they are struggling and are red. So there's no numeric scoring that's given to these CFAs, it's all color-coded. As we progress, we are developing more and more exemplars that can now be evidenced in many of our classrooms that are used as modeled texts. We're seeing more specific talk with respect to the criteria of the program of study. We're seeing evidence of that in the classrooms. If I walked into any of the classrooms in my school, the criteria are on the walls. They're now written in student-friendly language. As I've mentioned, when kids submit writing, they sometimes get to choose which of the criteria they're focused on. That's powerful, and that also means that there's talk about teaching, which is exactly what we strive to do. And then seeing kids celebrate their improvements in February, knowing that they have focused on some areas, very rewarding and very motivating for the student and for the teacher.
This current year, part of our evidence-based initiative is to move common formative assessment from the elementary into our middle school at both of our high schools. So there's been a lead team, again, being led by our consultants with our coordinator, to develop common formative assessment for math, English, and French for the middle school.
I think it's important to proceed slowly, keep a pulse on how things are going, ensure that we're getting the feedback from the teachers, and that this is actually resulting in what we hope that it results. We're not looking to impose a process on anyone. We are looking to ensure that we can support good instruction with data and evidence that speaks to the teacher and helps us do so.